Hello class, good day everyone. I am your science teacher, Sir Nathaniel G. Pabaira. We are now in 4th quarter, week 5. This day, let us learn more about the food chain and the food web. This week, you will learn to describe the transfer of energy through trophic level. Specifically, you will learn to identify autotrophs and heterotrophs in a food chain. You will also learn to explain how the food chain and food web represent the flow of energy. Before we start our fun discussion, I want to remind you about our virtual classroom etiquette. First, you should pay attention and listen to your teacher. Second, if you have questions, feel free to ask. Comment it down below in our chat box, and I encourage you to jot down and take down the important concepts you will learn today. Last week, we have learned about how to classify organisms, and we call it taxonomy. Taxonomy is the science of naming, describing, classifying organisms, and that includes plants, animals, and microorganisms of the world. There are 7 main taxonomic ranks, namely the kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. Let us give example. For example, we, humans. We are from kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, class Mammalia, order Primates, family Hominidae, genus Homo, species Homo sapiens. That is our taxonomic classification. Now let us go to our subject matter for today, and that is food chain. When you hear the word food chain or see a chain, what comes to your mind? Okay, class, like words like sequence, lines, and rows, right? Okay, now let us define what is food chain. A food chain is a linear sequence of organisms through which nutrients and energy pass as one organism eats another. A food chain represents a single pathway by which energy and matter flow through an ecosystem. Take note of the word single pathway. Another definition, according to Britannica, food chain is the sequence of transfer of matter and energy in the form of food from organism to organism. You hear the word organism to organism. In a food chain, there are different organisms involved. These are the autotrophs and heterotrophs. To help us know these terms, I have here a simple game that we used to play before. Are you familiar with the game 4 Pics and 1 Word? Okay, let's go. What do you think is the answer in this set of pictures? Class, it has 6 letters. The word starts with the letter P. Okay, I will give you 5 seconds to think. Okay, the answer is plants. Correct. Plants are also called autotrophs. They make their own organic molecules using light, water, and carbon dioxide. Because of this ability of plants and these organisms, they are also called producers. Okay, class, take note of the word producers. Producers are those organisms that can make their own organic molecules, or shall we say, food. Okay? For example, this corn, rice, plants. Okay? Will you please give at least 3 plants that can be found in your house? Comment your answers in our chat box. Let's go to our next set of pictures. This word also consists of 6 letters. It is an action word. Another clue, what are they doing? The answer is eating. Okay, they are eating. Heterotrophs get organic molecules by eating other organisms. The term stems from the Greek word hetero for other and trop for nourishment. In other words, these organisms get their energy by eating and consuming other organisms, so they are called consumers. If plants are producers, animals or these organisms that get their energy by eating are consumers. Do you consider yourself a consumer? Yes, because we get our energy by eating. Now, there are 4 main types of heterotrophs or consumers. These are the herbivore, carnivore, omnivore, and decomposer. Herbivore is an animal that gets its energy from eating plants and only plants. Class, give some example of herbivores that can be found locally. I have here some examples like goats and horses. You can answer by putting your answer in our chat box. Next is carnivore. A carnivore is an organism that mostly eats meat or the flesh of animals. Sometimes carnivores are called predators. An organism that carnivore hunts are called prey. Examples of carnivores are the Philippine saltwater crocodile and the Philippine monkey-eating eagle. Could it be possible, class, to classify lion as carnivore? Yes, because they only eat meat. Okay? Omnivore. An omnivore is an animal that has the ability to eat and survive on both plant and animal matter, obtaining energy and nutrients from plant and animal matter. Examples of which are dogs and cats, our pets in our house. How about human? Can we classify human as omnivore? Yes, because we eat both meat and plants. Next are the decomposers. A decomposer is an organism that decomposes or breaks down organic material such as the remains of dead organisms. Decomposer includes bacteria and fungi. These organisms carry out the process of decomposition which all living organisms undergo after death. We see fungi in rotten logs, right? Or worms in carcasses. Okay? These are the example of decomposer. This is an example of a food chain. We can see that the food chain always starts in producers. In this picture, producers are the corn, carrot, and grass, which is eaten by organisms which we call the primary consumers, which are the rat, rabbit, and the grasshopper. These organisms are eaten by the secondary consumers like the owl, fox, and frog. And the sequence goes on. After the consumers die, these consumers, the decomposer eat their dead body, Okay. Now, if there is a food chain, we have also what we call a food web. A food web consists of all the food chains in a single ecosystem. Each living thing is an ecosystem, is part of multiple food chains. If a food chain is a single pathway, always remember that the food web is an interconnected food chain. Class, this is an example of a food web. We can extract different food chain in that food web. For example, the grass eaten by grasshopper, and the grasshopper can be eaten by a bird or a monkey or that organism. So we can say that in a food web, there are different food chain involved or inside of it. So class, this is a pyramid of energy. A pyramid of energy represents how much energy initially from the sun is retained or stored in the form of new biomass at each trophic level in an ecosystem. Typically, about 10%, remember this, 10% of the energy is transferred from one trophic level to another trophic level, thus preventing a large number of trophic levels. Remember the 10% rule of the energy pyramid. The 10% rule means that when energy is passed in an ecosystem from one trophic level to another trophic level, only 10% of the energy will be passed on. An energy pyramid shows the feeding levels of organisms in an ecosystem and gives a visual representation of energy loss at each level. So what is the importance of energy transfer in our ecosystem? Energy transfer describes the changes in energy that occurs between organisms within an ecosystem. Living organisms are constantly changing as they grow, move, reproduce, and repair tissues. These changes are fueled by energy. So we can say that energy transfer is important for our growth and development, movement, reproduction, and cell regeneration. Okay, class. To test your understanding of our lesson for today, I have prepared different questions. Choose the letter of the correct answer, and I will give you 5 seconds to think. This is the question. What does a food chain always start with? A, a producer, B, herbivore, or C, a top predator? You have 5 seconds to answer. And the answer is A, producer. Correct. Producers are also the base of our energy pyramid. Next question. Which is the secondary consumer in this food chain? We have here the grass, grasshopper, frog, python, and eagle. Okay, class. The question is, which is the secondary consumer in this food chain? Letter A, grass, B, python, C, frog. The answer is letter C, frog. Another question. What is wrong with this pyramid of trophic level? Letter A, sparrowhawk doesn't eat trust. Letter B, the clover should be at the bottom. Letter C, snail doesn't eat clover. Okay, the answer is letter B. The clover should be at the bottom of the energy pyramid. Let us always remember, because clover is a producer, and it should be always at the bottom of the energy pyramid. Now, class, we now understand that a food web is consists of interconnected food chain. Give at least 2 food chains in the given food web. You can pause it. You can pause this video to answer this question and continue if you are finished. Okay, class. Now that we are done with our lesson, you are now ready to answer your activity sheets in Science 8, Quarter 4, Week 5. And we have here our assignment. Take note of your assignment and answer the following question. What are the different biogeochemical cycles? And what are the processes involved in water cycle? Write it on your intermediate pad. For more information about the topic for today, you may visit the following sites here. Okay, class? And we have here an inspirational quote from Benjamin Franklin. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Thank you for watching, class. God bless you and always be safe. Goodbye.